Leaders, do you wonder what happens when you go on a trip without a plan? I did that recently. And this idea emerged from Ricardo Semler. Ricardo Semler is the CEO of Semco. That's one of the fastest growing and most successful companies in Brazil. And in his book, Maverick, he talks about going on a holiday, just reaching out to the airport and then and there deciding where to go and what to do. It wasn't as impromptu as he suggested, but I did something similar with one of my coach friends. So here it goes. My friend, who is also a hugely accomplished coach, Kshitij Sharma, both of us have been planning for last few years that we would go somewhere together. We wanted to go on a trek, and this year we thought that let's have it. So a couple of months back, I called him up. I told him that let's put our plan to action and asked him that are you going to be okay that we have a trip completely unplanned as we didn't have our family together. So he also said that that looks like a good idea. Let's go without any planning. So we had no idea where we are going to stay, what kind of place we would be staying in, where we would be spending how many days, when we are going to do trekking, where I would be spending some time in a remote farmhouse in a village in the Himalayas. Here's some broad idea. The whole idea was that we are going to be together for next 4 5 days. And this is how it started. He flew down from Bangalore. We had all our gears ready as we also had to do trekking. So we had trekking shoes, jackets, multi-layer layers of clothing. All of that was ready. We stocked all possible materials into our SUV and early in the morning, at 4 in the morning, we started driving. We didn't know whether we are going to stay in Rishikesh, whether we would stay in Rudraprayag, or we would go all the way to Chopta to do Tungnath trek. We didn't even know where we would lead, where we would reach that particular day. On day one, we stopped midway, we had breakfast, and then we kept driving, driving, driving. Kshitij is such a great company that we continued driving for almost 10 hours. We stopped on the way, we took photos. We kept talking everything about my life, about his life, about our business, coaching, future, how we see the world, philosophies, challenges, struggles, all that conversation. The conversation was so soulful that we kept having on and on and on. We stopped midway, had lunch, and then I asked him that where are we going to stay? And he said, as you decide. So I had an idea about uh, Riverside Resort next to Rudraprayag, and it's very rustic, mud cottages, very serene, isolated kind of place. I called the guy up. He said that yeah, they have availability. So we informed him that okay, we are going to be there in 2 hours. And I told Kshitij that we would go check the place. If that meets our requirement and our mood, then we would stay there. Else, we would look for something else. He appeared okay with it. And then we went to Rudraprayag. We crossed Rudraprayag. Then we reached Shivanandi. Shivanandi is a small village in Rudraprayag. And somebody was already waiting on the main road to accompany us from that homestay. They call it resort, but that's more like a village homestay. although it's very, very well maintained. So there was a trek from the main road almost for 500 meters to reach the place. And once we visited the place, it was wow. Alaknanda River was flowing right from the property. And you had beautiful mountain view. There were trees all around. It was like living in the middle of the forest. No noise, chopping of birds, sound of flowing river, and absolute serenity. We brought our bags, got into the room. Again, our conversation continued. Then we had early dinner and we got into the room. The place was a little cold. As we came out of our room in the veranda, you know, there were fireflies all around, hundreds of them. All the lights were turned off. And imagine yourself in the middle of the forest, surrounded with greens and, you know, hundreds of fireflies lighting that up with no sound, with in absolute silence. The only sound was the sound of flowing river. I sat outside for a while and then we went to bed. Ideally, we were supposed to stay there for only one day. But we loved the place very much. And as we did not have any plan, so we decided to stay there for another day. Next day, early in the morning, we got up. I went by the side of the river.
शिव कैलाशों के वासी धौलीदारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना.
Then we did some meditation. We shot some photos. Our conversation began again about our life, career, business, family, challenges, struggles, all of that. The best thing was, of course, the place was beautiful and serene, and that was adding to the vibe. But the person who you are with plays extremely important role. Kshitij is the person that you can be completely open with. You can share whatever you feel like, no fear of judgment, no threat. You just feel safe. You feel that that person would only think in the best interest of you. He is the person in presence of whom you expand. Okay. Many of my questions that was lingering at subconscious level. Being a coach, you have an advantage that you end up resolving many of the things that you've been dealing with, but there are many things that stays at the back of your mind, some memories, some trauma that you have not been able to resolve. In such an atmosphere, you tap into that deeper side of yourself and bring out those things. He would ask questions, those deep, penetrating questions, something that would brush off in your routine life. But as we had time to do all the thinking, and that was the purpose of this trip, so we went deep. I tried figuring out what I meant, what I wanted, explored the best possible, genuine, honest, authentic response that I could give. And trust me, that created a door to freedom for me. Many of the things that I was dealing with that was stuck at subconscious level, but I had not paid enough attention. The presence of Kshitij and the atmosphere there dissolved those questions and set me free. So we spent another day there. The owner, Shalab, He is a philosopher. He gives you perspective about the river, the mountains, the world, and that helps you think completely differently. So we also had very soulful conversation with him by the river. So we spent another day, and after we felt okay, this has been such a great experience. We cruised towards the hills. So we had to go to Chopta. We started somewhere around 10 in the morning after breakfast, and then we reached the place around 4. And there, to our surprise, because last time when I went, the place was quite idle, but this time there were thousands of car and all the tourists were flocking, to my surprise, to that place. So we went beyond Chopta, and we had no reservation, and we found a cabin that was facing the valley, that was freshly made cabin. So we stayed there, we had lunch, and uh, after that, it was quite cold there, so we were shivering. We went to bed, and we decided that we are going to start the trekking early in the morning. When we spoke to the guest house owner, they said that people also do trekking at night. We wanted to view the peaks before sunrise from Chandrashila Peak. So we thought that we would start early, and we did start early. We got up at 3 o'clock. We were ready. We started our trekking. We trekked to Chopta, and along the way, it uh, drizzled a few times and it get cloudy. So the visibility was poor. We could not go to Chandrashila Peak as there was no visibility. You could not see the mountain peaks. You could hardly see the meadows few meters away. As anyway, we decided to go with the flow. So we stood at Tunganath, and we went to the temple. We did the puja inside the temple. We did meditation uh, next to the temple, and that was quite a surreal experience. And then we came back, clicked many photos on the way. Beautiful valley filled with rhododendron flowers. That was magical. Although we didn't get to see the best of the views that I somehow managed last time, but our conversations in those valleys, by the meadows, the fresh air, the crisp mountain breeze that filled my heart and soul. And we came down, drove back to our cabin, had lunch, and again we had to come back. So we drove to Rishikesh. We reached Rishikesh somewhere around 10 p.m., stayed overnight, and both of us came back home the next day. This was quite an experience. I have had many solo trips. I have had many trips with friends. We keep having family travel every now and then, but this was unique in many ways. And what made it unique was Kshitij's presence. Presence of a coach helped me resolve many of the things that have been stuck with me for decades. The busy life never gave me opportunity to think about them deeply. As I brought in many of the questions and I felt safe sharing with Kshitij, he also guided me to answers that I could not think of. Many of my beliefs were challenged. And when I came back and listed my insights from the trip, there were 19 of them. Few days spent together 19 insights, and I have put them into an action plan. And as I am uh, executing this action plan, I feel that I'm already fast forwarded by a few years, if not decades. So, friends, spend time with those who help you expand. Who is that person in your life? Let me know in the comment box. And if you have not planned any trip together, plan a trip with that person. And I would love to hear your exploration and experiences. See you in the next video.